David joins us now from his home in Los Angeles. So good to see you, David.
Thanks for having me. So great to see you again.
The last time we saw one another, I think we were at the Tyler Perry studio celebrating with him when he opened that huge studio there. The late, great Congressman John Lewis was there, someone of course, very close to you and myself. And it is amazing when you look at what happened in Georgia and the tireless work that you were intimate in learning about firsthand when filming Selma. How did it feel for you?
Well, someone wrote to me and said you are literally watching the realization of what you showcased in that movie. 1965, that march from Selma to Montgomery, it was fighting for voting rights.
Yeah.
And it is very clear that it was Black and brown people who tipped this country towards the result that we got over the weekend. And so, I'm so filled with pride to have been part of that storytelling, part of this history, and part of the history we are currently living right now.
We finally get to watch some other things, including the Tamron Hall show and your movie come away. How do you explain it?
Well, when the script was sent to me, what I loved about it is that it was so unexpected to see these worlds that we know presented in a fresh way, the worlds of Wonderland and Neverland put together. Alice from Alice in Wonderland, Peter from Peter Pan as brother and sister. And it was also an origin story framed around this family who are going through a very difficult time. And as we know, children, a lot of the time, what gives birth to their imagination is their need to escape.
Yeah.
And in this film, they're needing to escape a difficult time the family is going through, but it gives birth to this life and this imagination and this fantasy that actually goes on to help their parents heal.
It's interesting, speaking of healing, because we are talking so much about how do we bring people together. And I think, to your point, allowing children to have an imagination and see a life very different than sometimes we tell them, that everything is black, white. And these characters, you have a multiracial cast, you with Angelina Jolie. And as I understand, there were people who went online attacking the movie without ever even seeing it, much like they did, I guess, with the Ghostbusters when there was an all-female cast. You had some people very bothered by the fact that you and Angelina Jolie, this interracial star cast here, would be the front face of the film. Were you ready for that? Did you expect anything? Because I don't know how anyone would be bothered by it, but that's me.
Yeah, I would be lying if I said I was surprised by it. I've had other films that have had this done to them. I mean, famously, we saw John Boyega having to deal with this because people didn't like the idea of a black stormtrooper, or Haley Bailey as the Little Mermaid, and it's unfortunate, but, like Kamala Harris said last night, every little girl now sees that this is a country of possibilities. Yeah. And for me personally, to see Kira Chansa as Alice from Alice in Wonderland, or Jordan Nash as Peter, that's what I didn't get to see when I was 12 years old. And I know that it would have slightly changed and reshaped my worldview about where I fit in the world. And at the end of the day, these are fictional characters in a fantasy fairy tale. So, it's not any kind of displacement in terms of history. It's just seeing these kids who are in the middle of this fantasy, which I would like to think most people would want to see.
I agree. Did you talk to Angelina about it after you saw that some people were bothered slightly by, or extremely by, this imaging or this reimagination?
No, I haven't spoken to her specifically about it, but one of the reasons we both wanted to do this film, I mean, I was approached to do the film, and Angie's a very good friend of mine. We bonded before even being actors together over the fact that we both have a bunch of kids. I have 4, she has 6. We would have these play dates where all 10 of them would run around tearing up her house. But, she famously has a diverse family herself. I'm married to a white lady. We have an interracial family. So, the embrace of of that for both of us in our personal lives was obviously something that we were very happy to celebrate and share in this film. So no matter what people think, we truly believe there are more people who would embrace this than not.
Well, congratulations on the film. I know you also have your directorial debut. You've got so much going on, but we appreciate you making time for us. Thank you, David, and congrats again.
Thanks for having me.